let's see. Let's talk about articles. What articles do you know in English? What are the articles that you know? Any idea?
Teacher, there is an article.
Yes, there is an
Uh,
article.
they, this,
Um,
No, they, these are demonstrative pronouns. Okay, any other article? A,
he,
a,
she,
Two.
to is a preposition. Okay, a and an are articles. Okay,
what
do we
about
have
he and she, teacher?
he and she are personal pronouns? Okay, so today we are going to see
at,
articles. Again,
teacher,
Diana?
at, at,
At,
at,
preposition
80.
is a preposition. Okay, so the articles we have in English are a, and the. Okay, these are the three articles that we are going to talk about in this class. Okay, so here we have the articles. We have two kind of articles, two types. Do you know what kind of articles do we have? Any idea? Have you ever learned about this? The different type of articles we have? No?
The definite, indefinite, definido, indefinido.
Yes, we have definite articles and we have indefinite articles. Okay? So which of the three that I showed you before do you think are definite and which of them are indefinite? What do you think?
Definite could be the.
The, right? Okay, yes. The definite article we have is the. An indefinite, a or an. Okay? Okay. Can you tell me what do you understand for definite article? When do you use the in a sentence?
When you're referring to a noun or an object.
Okay, but also you can use a or an when you are talking about a noun or an object. When do you use the definite article?
when we are talking about an
Yes, when
specific
we are
thing
talking,
or subject.
mhm, when we are talking about something specific, right? That's why it's definite. So, there is used when the speaker talks about a specific object that both the person speaking and the listener know. Okay, for example, if I tell you the class starts at 7:30, you know that I am talking about the English class, and I know that I am talking about the English class. So we are talking about a specific class, right? The English class. Okay? And we use a or an when we don't specify. Okay? They are used when we don't specify the things or people we are talking about. Okay? For example, I took a class last week. I don't specify what class I'm talking about. I took a class. Could be a math class, could be, I don't know, language class, physics class, any kind of class. Okay, so we don't specify. When do we use a and when do we use an? Do you remember? What is the difference between these two indefinite articles?
We
I
use an when the follow word starts with a vocal.
Okay, we use an when the next word, the following word is a word that starts with a vowel, right? And we use a when the following word starts with a consonant, right? Very good. So let's see here some examples. It says, I want to buy the computer we saw yesterday in the store. As you can see in this sentence, I am using the computer because it's the one that I saw yesterday in the store. Okay, and the person who is speaking know what computer is talking about, is he or she talking about, and the listener also know the computer. So we are talking about a specific computer, the one that we saw yesterday in the store. It's something specific, right? But if I say, I want to buy a computer, this computer could be any computer in the world, right? Could be an Apple computer, an HP computer, any kind of computer. Okay, so I am not specifying in this sentence. Okay, so this is the difference between these articles, the and a. Okay, for example, in this sentence, it says, they've just come out with a computer that doesn't need any wires. If the computer is not too far away from a printer, both machines can be connected through infrared rays. I want you to tell me here in this sentence, what are the articles? What are the articles in this sentence?
A computer.
The
Yes,
computer, teacher.
a computer and the computer, right? Why do you think we use a computer and after that we use the computer? Why? What could be the reason? Why first a computer and then the computer?
Maybe in the first sentences, they can express the cantidad, the number, maybe.
Because the computer teacher is being describing.
It's been described? No, exactly.
That doesn't need any wires. We now specify computer. We know about that computer.
Here?
Yes.
Not
Teacher,
exactly.
could be because we mentioned the computer for first time.
Yes, because here in the first sentence, we are mentioning the computer for the first time. In the conversation, we are mentioning this for the first time. And then here we are mentioning the computer for the second time. Okay, so when we are talking about something and we mention it for the first time, we use a. But when we mention the same thing in the conversation a second time, we can use the. This is one of the rules for the articles. Okay, so a or an and the. We use a or an when you mention an object for the first time and the when you refer to the same object again in the conversation. Okay, so this is one of the rules about the articles. I want you to think about a sentence when you use a for the first time and the in the same conversation or in the same sentence, but first a and then in the second time you mention it, the. Okay? So try to think in your example and we are going to listen to them. Okay? I'm going to give you some seconds. Okay, does anyone have an example? Diana, please.
She ordered an orange juice and a sandwich. The orange juice was very sweet.
Very good. She ordered an orange juice and a sandwich. The orange juice was very sweet. Very good. Any other ideas? Diego?
My father bought a cell phone that a man in the street offered to him. The cell phone doesn't work anymore.
Okay, so in the first sentence you use what?
My father bought a cell phone.
A cell phone, right? Very good.
Yes.
And in the second sentence, the cell phone was,
The cell phone doesn't work anymore.
doesn't work anymore. Okay, very good. Any other ideas? Carla?
The last week, my brother adopted a dog from the street. My parents got annoyed by that, but now the dog is their best friend.
Okay, last week, my brother adopt a dog. Okay, and now the dog is their best friend. Christian, please. Very good.
Okay. Do you remember that I bought a red bicycle? It turns that the bicycle had the frame broken.
Very good. I bought a bicycle, and then we have the bicycle had the frame
The frame broken.
broken. Ivana?
I need an English book to the library. The book is about English history.
Okay, I need what?
I need an English book.
An English book?
Yes, or a book.
An English book, right?
An
Because
English.
English
Yes.
start with a vowel. Okay, very good. I need an English book. The English book is about English history.
Okay.
Very good. Good. So remember that when you mention for the first time something with a or an, and then with the. Very good examples. Let's go to the next one. Here I have some sentences. I want you to tell me which of these sentences do you think are correct and which of them do you think are incorrect. For example, the first one, it says, the cell phones are very useful for students to do their homework. Cell phones are very useful for students to do their homework. The cell phone is very useful for students to do their homework, or cell phone is very useful for students to do their homework. Which of them do you think are correct? For example, the first one. Is the first one correct?
No.
No. Why not? Why not? This is
Because
some,
it's plural.
not exactly.
It's because cell phones are not only there. It doesn't exist only one. There are too many cell phones in the world. It could be.
Okay. You are close.
It's not a specific. When we talk about cell phones, we can say the cell phones because it's not about just one cell phone.
Okay, thank you. Luis?
Maybe because the article there is related to a group or plural. So that reason is not correct. Cell phones, just cell phone. Yes. I don't know.
Okay, could be. Could be. So it's incorrect. What about the second one?
Correct.
Correct. Why?
I don't know.
You don't know. Remember that I always tell you when we are talking about something in general, we don't use the. I don't know if you remember this, but we are used to translate everything from Spanish to English. And in Spanish, when we talk in general, we use la o los o el o las, ¿cierto? Siempre utilizamos. Entonces, cuando traducimos, generalmente ponemos de a todo. ¿Ok? Pero recuerden que cuando hablamos en general, no utilizamos un artículo definido. ¿Ok? So this is a general statement. So that's why we don't use the. Okay? Because we are talking in general. Cell phones in general. Okay? We are not talking about a specific cell phone. What about this one? The cell phone is very useful for students to do their homework.
Correct.
Why?
Correct.
Why do you think it's correct?
Because, sorry. Can you start? I don't remember. Serrano? Okay. The cell phone is referring a specific item. The second sentence is not is specific. Or in other words, the second sentence is a general sentence.
Okay, thank you. Any other ideas?
I think because it's specifying that cell phone is useful for students doing homework.
Okay. We are saying the same sentence, but in singular. We are using a singular noun. That's why we can use the. Okay, the cell phone. We are talking about this device, the cell phone. Okay, so when we say the same sentence, but with a singular noun, we can use the. Okay, so we can use we can say a statement, a general statement in the singular with the, but not with plural. Okay, so remember this: when it is a general statement and the noun is in plural, we don't use the definite article, the. But when we are talking about something in singular, we can use the. Okay, it's the same sentence but in singular. And the last one, of course, the last one is incorrect. Okay, so remember, for general statements, we don't use an article. No article for general statements. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we have two sentences. He has a problem with technology and he has a problem with the technology. Which of these sentences is correct?
The second,
Why?
mm, because first is the article a, and then the but
Okay, but problem
is
and
a problem,
technology?
and then it's
Yes,
technology.
it's not the
I
same,
think
right?
it's yes. It's not.
What about you guys? What do you think about these two sentences? Which is the correct?
The first one,
Okay, why?
because technology is an uncountable noun.
Yes, because technology is an uncountable noun, right? So for uncountable nouns, we don't use articles, okay? We don't use articles because in this sentence, we are talking in general, right? So it's a general statement, and this is an uncountable noun. So we don't need to use the technology, okay? We can use the technology when we are talking about a specific type of technology, okay? For example, in this sentence, the technology children use today for their classes didn't exist before. So we are talking about the technology children use, okay? We are not talking in general. We are talking about something, a specific type of technology. So remember this. When we are when we are talking about an uncountable noun, in general, we don't use the. But when we are talking about an uncountable noun, and we are talking about a specific type of something uncountable, we can use the, okay? So general statements, no article, and for a specific time, we can use the, okay? Let's go to the next one. That was the most technological device I've seen. The first cell phone I bought was too big to carry. The last time Michelle opened her computer was the last Saturday. The last year I went to USA to check the new cell phone on the market. Okay, so let's check these sentences. I want you to analyze them, and I want you to tell me if these sentences are correct. For example, number one, that was the most technological device I've seen. Is this sentence correct?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's specifying a technological device, so not it's not referring to technology, so to technological devices.
Okay, not exactly. Any other ideas?
It's a superlative. We must use it when we use a superlative.
Yes, it's a superlative adjective, right? The most technological. Technological in this situation is an adjective. And to make this adjective a superlative, we use the most technological device. Okay, that's why we can use the. Remember, for superlatives, we always use the, right? What about the second? The first cell phone I bought was too big to carry. What about this one? Is this sentence correct?
Yes.
No, teacher.
No or yes. Why no or why yes?
No, because it's a specific cell phone and in the sentence use the.
Remember that the is for specific objects.
Oh,
A or
yes.
an is for things that are not specific. Any other ideas?
I think it's correct because you only have one first cell phone, so I think it's correct because of that.
Okay. Any other ideas? Yes, it's correct. The sentence is correct. Why? Because the first is a marker, okay? It's a sequence marker. So when we use sequence markers, we use the. For example, the first to arrive to the party, the second to finish the test, okay? She was the third best student in her class. Okay, so when we use these sequence markers, first, second, third, we can use the first, the second. Okay? What about the next sentence? The last time Michelle opened her computer was the last Saturday. Is this sentence correct? What do you think? Is the sentence correct?
I think, teacher, that is correct.
Mm-hmm.
I
Why?
don't know how to explain,
You don't know how to...
but in all the grammar, I see that when you refer to the time, always is the last
Okay,
the last
yes.
year and the other the last Saturday. I don't know what is the name of that type of grammar.
This is also a sequence marker. For example, we say, he was the first to finish the race, and she was the last, or he was the last to finish the race. Okay, entonces the first and the last, and the second and the third, these are sequence markers. So the sentence, is the sentence correct? What do you think?
I think that in the case of referring the last time, it could be correct, but I think that the article "they" in the second part is not correctly used.
Very good. This is not correct. We don't say the last Saturday, right? We say last Saturday. We say last week, last month, but we don't say the last week, the last year, the last Saturday. Remember that when we are using these time expressions, we don't say the, just for sequence markers, okay? But not for these time expressions in the past. So this sentence is not correct. How can we change this sentence? We can say, the last time Michelle opened her computer was last Saturday. And this sentence is correct. What about this one, the last one? The last year I went to the US to check the new cell phone on the market. Is the sentence correct?
We can't say, teacher, the last year.
So correct or incorrect?
Incorrect. Because
Incorrect?
we can say the last year.
We can't,
Yes.
right? We can't say the last year. So the sentence is incorrect. So we can say last year I went to the USA to check the new cell phone on the market. Okay? Very good. So remember, we use the when we are using superlatives, also when we are using sequence markers. For example, the first, the second, the third, the last, okay? And we don't use the when we have these time expressions with next. For example, next week, we don't say the next week, or next month, next year. And the expressions, the time expressions with last Monday, last week, we don't say the last Monday or the last week. Okay, so be careful with this. Expressions with next or last don't go with the. But sequence markers, yes, they can go with the. Okay, any questions about this? Okay, here in your book, you have exactly the same explanation with some other examples. We have countable nouns. Remember when we are talking about a countable noun in the singular form, we use a or an when we mention them for the first time. When we mention them for the second time, or we mention them again, we can use the, right? If you make a general statement, we don't use an article. But if we make the same statement using a singular noun, we can use the. For uncountable nouns, we don't use an article for uncountable nouns. For example, technology, science, education, shopping, love, these are uncountable nouns. So we don't use to use the. We don't need to use the, okay? When you are making a general statement. But when you are referring to a specific time of technology, specific time of science, specific time of education, shopping, or love, you can use the, okay? When you are talking about a specific type of something uncountable. Then we have superlatives. You know that for superlatives, you can use the, and for sequence markers, okay? Here we have some sequence markers. First, and next, last, okay? But for time expressions, of course you can use the next or the last, pero no pueden ocuparlos como time expressions, okay? For example, next year, not the next year, okay? And some other sentences that you have here. So here you have exactly the same, but with other examples, okay? Let's see here. We have some sentences, and I want you to tell me what kind of articles can you use in these sentences, okay? And why? The most important thing I want to know in these sentences are the reasons why you are choosing this article, or if you are not choosing an article, why, okay? So when you don't choose an article, you need to write across. For example, here, internet shopping is becoming more and more popular. What do you think about this? Why we don't need an article in this sentence? Oh, sorry. Why we don't need an article in this sentence?
Because it's a specific.
No.
Because it's internet shopping is uncountable.
It's uncountable. That's why we don't need an article. Okay? So I'm going to give you some minutes so you can write here the correct article, and then we are going to discuss why. Why did you choose this? Okay? Try to do it. Let's see. Number 2, please. Maria Jose, can you read sentence number 2?
Okay. In a laptop, computers are indispensable for people who work while they travel. I think that I think that you can put an article because it's in plural.
So you don't use an article here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's because it's in plural?
Or it's like in general.
Yes, general
yeah.
statement, right?
Yeah.
Okay, don't forget that it's not because it's plural. It's because it is a general statement, okay? Number 3, please, Abraham.
Computers used to fly airplanes make many of the decisions pilots used to make. I think we don't need an article because we are talking about a specific technology.
So when we talk about something specific, you don't use an article?
No, it's the opposite. We use an article.
Which one?
The
right?
The
When
computers.
you talk about something specific, we use an article, okay? So here we are talking about specific type of computers. We are talking about the computers that are used to fly airplanes. So it's something specific, right? As you can see, this is also plural. Okay, that's why I want you to tell me a specific, a general statement, not plural, because sometimes we can use the with plurals. Okay, let's go with number 4. Please, let's go with Sergio, please.
More and more products these days are incorporating a computer.
A computer?
Yes.
Why?
Oh no, sorry. No. Teacher, I don't know if we have to use the article in this part.
Mm-hmm. What is your doubt? What is the reason you are doubting?
Because I don't know if when talk about the computers is a specific computer that have more products or no.
Okay, let's read the sentence. It says, more and more products these days are incorporating computers or the computer, or what do you think?
Without article?
Without article, why?
Because I think that the sentence talk about in general.
In general, we are not talking about a specific computer like in this sentence. In this one, we are talking about a specific computer or specific type of computer, the ones that are used to fly airplanes. But in this situation, we don't specify, right? No estamos especificando qué tipos de computadora. Entonces, por esa razón, no utilizamos artículos, ¿ok? Let's go to the next one. Let's go with Samuel, please. Number 5.
Oh, I heard they've invented a computer that can connect to the internet without a phone wire.
Mm-hmm. So, you used?
The article A.
Why?
Because it's the first mention of the computer.
Yes, it's singular. It starts with a consonant, You can see, and it's the first time you mentioned this, right? Okay, let's go with number 6. Please, Daniel.
The email technology is affecting the way we live and think.
Why?
Because it's talking about a specific technology, like email technology. That's why I use the.
What do you think, guys? Do you agree with your partner?
I agree.
You agree. So we use, again?
I disagree. I think that is the same of the first sentences because email technology is uncountable.
Very good. It's uncountable. Technology is uncountable, right? This email is just an adjective. ¿Ok? Email en esta ocasión está trabajando como un adjetivo. Email technology. So this is uncountable. That's why we don't use an article. Okay? Because it's uncountable and we are talking about a general statement. Okay? Let's go with the next one. Brenda, please, number 7.
The last people should do is download internet documents without knowing the source because that's how computer viruses are spread.
Okay, so you use?
The.
Why?
We are using a sequence mark, but I don't know, like after last is the word thing. I don't know if it's correct.
Yes, this is a sequence mark. The last thing. No importa si acá hay un sustantivo, igual es una secuencia, ¿ok? Esto pasó, esto tiene que pasar. Lo último que uno haga es esto, ¿ok? It's a sequence marker. Okay. What about the last one? Diego, please.
Not everyone believes that technology has improved the quality of people's life.
Why?
We don't use an article because technology is uncountable.
It's uncountable, right? So that's why we don't use an article. And also we are talking in general, technology in general. Okay. Any questions about these exercises? Anything that you maybe couldn't understand? Okay, good. So let's continue with the